All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you're tuning in, be sure to hit that thumbs up. And if you're a new viewer, as you watch throughout the video, definitely consider subscribing. Today is now day 4 of the road to a 5-figure trader. My ideal goal here, 30K a day. The question is it possible? If you ask me, the answer is without a doubt yes. So let's talk about some of the things we did well today. Let's talk about some of the areas of opportunities where we can improve for tomorrow, and let's go over my strategy and the trades I took. Right, let's talk about this hyper scalping style of trading, which is one, if you ask me, one of the best styles out there. All right, so before we jump into it, just remember our disclaimer, which is that day trading is risky. A lot of traders are having a hard time out there. So if you're new, take it slow, utilize small size, utilize the simulators, practice and improve. Prove that you're consistent with small size or sim before sizing up. Other than that, remember that my results are not typical. Copy trading does not work. It's all about learning the strategy for yourself, which again takes time. Other than that, I do not invest for my subscribers, so be careful of fake accounts. I will never message you first. Again, hit that thumbs up and let's talk about it here. So we had a couple of tickers that we traded: ADTX, SHE, and WINT. I did notice PSTV right before I was shutting things down, but I left out, did not look at it. It seems like it was a good moving stock. We had some members in the chat room do well right there, so that was pretty good to see. So let's start off with ADTX, the loss. ADTX, this one here, pretty decent. Um, so this was yesterday. This thing made a move. Today, you guys can see we traded it much less. However, we did still take a $400 loss in one trade, which also happened yesterday. So ADTX, what's going on with this one, right? So things that I did well here, despite having a red P&L, I thought we did a really good job keeping things tight early. Initially here, we tried for the red to green. So as you guys know, pattern-wise, we've made the move down below VWAP, and we're seeing that U-shape recovery. And so I was looking for the consolidation here below VWAP, or let's say right into VWAP rather, which would be, if we're to zoom in on this red candle, if I'm to draw like a box of where I'm like looking to get in, was somewhat in this zone here. And if we check the actual fill, I got filled at 50. So again, that would be, if I'm to put an arrow here as well, that would be right here, right? Again, so I'm getting into this zone, and I'm looking for the stock to then curl back up to the upside. But that did not happen. And so I was looking for a quick wick down and a move back up. That did not happen. Instead, this thing flushed out like crazy, and I stopped out all the way at 33. Brutal loss right there. Brutal loss coming out all the way at 33. So that's how things started. But again, we kept it tight. We did a good job of getting out quickly, which I think was the main thing for us there, right? Because anytime the trade doesn't work, if your trade idea is going south, it's all about managing the risk and coming out as fast as you can. So as I was trading WINT, I believe it was, I saw in the side of my eyes ADTX again, and this time curled up here around 9:45, and we had at the time the 5-minute candle right here making the new high. So I got long. The high of the previous candle was at 11:59. I did get in a little higher a little later, more so for the high of the day break at over 12 and the whole dollar break. It got all the way to 1260. We came in at the end of this candle, so we didn't get here early. We came in, if we check the timestamp here, I kind of traded this towards the back end of this candle. So as this green candle dipped down, if you use a 10-second chart, you'll see it more clearly. But this thing dipped down and then curled back up, and that's the trade that I really got in here. So a bit of a hyper scalp in there, quick in and out. And at this point, we're basically somewhat, I think, smaller than the stock. And then we proceeded to have this trade here. So again, I'm trying the VWAP area. I see the stock up again after this huge move. I wait patiently here, and I look forward to getting in on the pullback. Initially, we had lows at 12.22. I got long at 34 and added at 17. The stock did curl all the way up to 50. And I could have sold. I could have sold. could have sold, but I was looking for the bigger move closer to the highs. And so after this rejection came in, I thought we would hold up the lows again, but we didn't really quite do that. We had a low all the way down at 12, and I ended up stopping out. I believe my average might have been around like 25. So I stopped out there 10 for a 15-cent loss. We did get back to a high of 40, but ultimately you guys will see that the stock was not able to hold up. I think right here I could have left it alone. I tried for the wick reclaim over VWAP. I think this is an area of opportunity here. Perhaps could have left it alone in this area. Tried for the wick reclaim and was hoping for the curl back up again. But I think at this point, it's a little bit more extended to the downside, or let's say stressed to the downside, and I could have been more patient in avoiding that loss. But all in all, I would say pretty decent for ADTX. The only issue for me with this stock is that one, it wasn't that strong, and then two, I think because I'm looking at the other one, the places where I saw it and tried to get in, maybe could have been a little bit better if this was the stock of the day and I'm focusing on this one, with all my attention, right? My focus. So I don't think the setups were bad per se, but this just wasn't the stock of the day, ultimately. We thought it could have been, but for the trades that I attempted, I feel pretty good, when it's all said and done. So moving on to WINT, which was more so the stock of the day for me. Let's get rid of this show trades here because it's a little bit more going on. It's a little messy here. All right. So this ended up being more so the stock of the day, and early in the first 2 minutes, I'm watching ADTX actually. So right here, I don't really get to capitalize on this. In fact, I just say I'm somewhat passive in the first 2 minutes. We had a move from 48 to 70, and then from 51 to 73. And by the time I really started looking at it like, hey, this might be the one, it's already up here around 80, 75, 80. So it's like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to jump in at 80. We were just at 50. I'm going to, be patient. I think, could I have scalped it and taken a few trades here and there? I think so, but it just felt so high. It felt like I should have been in at like, 55, 60, 65, not 75, 80, right? So I'm like, hey, all right, I'll leave it alone. And on these pullbacks here, in hindsight, this is another area of opportunity where I can be better. I could have been more aggressive to take my starters. I think that's the key for me here. It is a little tough because what I was hoping for in comparison to this consolidation, if we zoom out and we look at this consolidation, this is more of what I was expecting, right? Like there to be much more churn and sideways action. But the reality is, and this kind of candle here, the reality is that sometimes this will happen where the stock comes down a little bit and it's right back up, right? If we move forward, we might see it again in other areas, even right here, right? I mean, we did get like 1, 2 candles afterwards, but sometimes there's a dip and it's right back up. And that's what happened in this area. And honestly, I kind of lost interest. Now, my starter position, if I'm to be more aggressive here, would have still been good enough to be in and make something. But I was looking for like a bigger position. And so being that the first pullback, which is usually the best pullback, didn't really offer that, it was a little disappointing. But again, with the starter size, I could have been in. And twice we went from, what's the low, 65, 7. Let's say if I'm in 75, highs at 87. That's a good chunk of change right there. And we did that like twice. And then the breakout happened. And so, this is another part of being in early, right? This stock was a grinding stock actually. So before this explosion here, it was moving like a chunky toddler, like a pretty thick baby, like a chubby baby, right? That's the phrase there to call it, a chubby baby, right? The ones with like the wrinkles on the neck and the wrinkles on the arms and everything. So sadly, I wasn't in position to capture this breakout because the stock was just so heavy that to me buying the breakout didn't even make sense. There's other stocks where it's so light, right? It has this beautiful balance. It can go up and down, and you know, rip up 20 cents, come back down, and this didn't seem like that type of stock. So I avoided this trade, which I think was the right idea. But of course, sadly, it did give a nice move, which this can make you feel FOMO, but I think I just wasn't in position here. But after this move here, I'm like, okay, I switched over to ADTX. I came back, which is why I missed this dip. I missed this dip because I'm looking at ADTX right here. This is at 937, ADTX at 937. Let's see, right here. This is, yeah, and this is where I basically took the trade for the dip below VWAP or at VWAP, and then, you know, had the loss. So if I wasn't watching at this stock, I think one, I could have avoided that loss that I had, and then two, there's a good chance I probably would have been looking to get involved with the starter position. But you know, again, it's part of the deal. Sometimes the opportunity will cost, right? So yeah, this ended up pushing up, and then on the pullback here, you know, it's looking good, but again, now I missed this move, so it's somewhat extended again. So I waited patiently. I got a nice position down in one of these red candles, and where another area of opportunity. So in the live stream, I draw my trend lines. One, I draw these two trend lines before the stock pulled back when we were like maybe here. I draw these candles, or maybe even up here in this initial flag. I draw these two trend lines. I'm like, okay, I'll watch this thing, and I took my position, but the position was not the position that I wanted. I think I still kind of got a little too timid when it came to adding again, at least one or two more times. And I think I wouldn't even say timid. Let's not even use timid. It wasn't necessarily being timid. It was more so not thinking two steps ahead and not thinking enough about my plan of how I wanted to execute the trade. Initially, I had my trade idea, but as I'm in the trade, I'm not actively managing it as well as I should have been managing it to get the result that I was looking for. And so I positioned myself nicely, missed the ad, and then this thing just did wonders. So just a little frustrating here, 950. You know, if we were to bring up the show trades again at 950, let's see. So we had the 3,000 shares, and again, the position just, you know, not the position that I was looking for, man. It should have been a much better position. You guys will see out at 23 for a very beautiful trade. But it should have been way better of a trade. In fact, I thought I had even more size than this looking back at. I thought I had at least 5,000, but anyhows. We ranked, we repeated, and then this thing broke down over here, which was fine. You know, sometimes you gotta watch out for the sell-off because they'll happen. And I think that was pretty much it. We tried one more time down here, but it was not looking to give the bounce back up. And this is where I have to be careful of backside. The 5-minute chart did look good, but we started to develop a bit of a head and shoulder. So if we zoom out a little bit, get rid of the show trades. Bro, I'm gonna make millions here, watch. This right here, you know, kind of like gave it away. This bit of a double top. And so you kind of have that like human shape. You know, the head, the shoulder. If you're to draw some legs here, the pants, you know, etc., etc. Right? Art class 101. Art class. Give him a belt buckle, and boom, smiley face, or I guess sad face since we broke down. And yeah, head and shoulders pattern. Depths. So hope you guys appreciated that beautiful drawing there. All right. Yeah, that was pretty much it. After this, for me, this is what I consider no man's land right here. Anything below this zone is no man's land. I will not be buying. This is what I call official backside. But some of the guys on the team are really good at trading this, meaning they can snipe an entry like this and get the move up, or maybe even a bottoming trade like this and get the move up. For me, this area, because we're not, really in the uptrend, I rather just leave alone because it's just kind of tough. So we walked away with 1,000 bucks and we had 1,500 at the highs, and our first trade came like right here. So we traded this and made 1,500 bucks. Gave back a little off the top, and that was it. Now, we definitely have to try to position ourselves to be in earlier. But as mentioned, the way how the stock moved up aggressively, and I didn't put out my starter as aggressive as I could have. I think I could have done a better job there, but yeah. So a solid day, but I think as long as we do what we need to do tomorrow and the adjustments will improve, and that's all that's going to matter. So I think, another couple of days, and we'll be looking pretty good. I think we'll be looking pretty good. I don't see why not. We're very intentional. It's different, right? Before this team house, it's different. Like I'm just trading to just trade, just scalping the scalp, trading the range, doing my thing. Now I'm like implementing a small change, making a small adjustment and looking to be a little bit better. So let's do it. Tomorrow again, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Remember, I do go live on YouTube at 9:15 a.m. every day. For those of you who are only watching the recaps, you can always tune in live if you want to see how we get it done in the moment. Other than that, I'll catch you guys next time. Check out the links down below if you're interested in the scanner, in the um, chat room, and of course the classes, right? If you want to learn how to hyper scalp and make 1,000 bucks a day, or even more, or maybe less, depending on your size and all that good stuff, the opportunity is here. It's not guaranteed because nothing in life is, but what is guaranteed is our transparency in showing you how we do things. We have a library of archives. We have a whole course that goes from nothing to advanced, from knowing nothing to everything we know. We have mentorship sessions, study sessions, coaching calls, live trading, low latency streams, streaming our scanners that we use, all that good stuff. So you guys can join the community if you ever feel you need some help. We're always here, right? Merciless Markets, and I can pull up the websites here for everything for the chat room. If you guys ever want to check out the chat, some people they love the YouTube chat, right? And honestly, if I wanted to, I could take away the YouTube chat and like say, hey, join the chat room. But we're not really interested in doing all that, right? But if you guys ever want to come and see how the traders are doing and what people are talking about after the live stream is done, this is always here. You have some massive guys, Cactus Rob, Dynamo, all these guys sharing their trade ideas, Beam, Rolex, and so many more traders here. Tim, all these guys. You have Rich with a really nice day here. You know, you got all these guys getting it done. You guys can definitely feel free to check out the chat room and be a part of this level of greatness here. You have some of the moderators, Dash, Tim, and some of the other guys, the chat room members, getting it done today, man. Big shout out to the team. One team, one dream. Momo Bro, you got Beam, $20,000 today. Yeah, just absolutely insane. Lucas, 3,700. Covert, a little red today, but we know he's going to look forward to getting better tomorrow. Odin, locked in some green. And these guys, these are students who are like killing it, right? You got Mighty, Save, and the list goes on and on. Yeah, so check it out. As mentioned, there's also the classes. If you ever want to get involved and learn how to trade, Merciless Markets is here. Coupon code TEAM still actually active, right? The Team House vlog is going to come out soon, so you guys can stay tuned for that. It's a quick announcement there. But yeah, check out the classes, right? So everything that's included in your membership is all listed down here below. And we do have different options, different tiers depending on your needs. So we have the blueprint and the mastery program, right? The mastery program, the full mastery program includes everything that we have to offer. The blueprint, if you just want the course and chat room access, the blueprint is here. But if you want everything, including the coaching calls, the live streams, um, the scanners that we stream, everything, the archives, those are all in the full program. All right. The 101 is just basics. It's like complete basics. It's good for people who are just brand new but want to get their feet wet. Right. So we decided to make that because some people ask for like something simple, but yeah, other than that, you can check out the curriculum here, go all the way down, see everything, how it's listed, how it's organized, and then once you're locked in, you go through. Anytime you have a question, you reach out to us. We have the success stories, which again, I do apologize. I have to start these again. But the good news is that I have like 4 interviews that I have saved. But I got to do more success stories. I have some with some of the team house members after the most recent trip, but I have to do more student interviews. There's like another 10, 15 student interviews that I can do today. So I gotta set I can't do any this week, that's for sure. This week I just everything is booked out. But next week I think I can be able to do at least 2. Because there's other stuff that's just going on behind this, like other things like personal things, business things, all that good stuff that we're dealing with. So hopefully the schedule free up, right? Yeah. And honestly, we can revisit some of these interviews as well. The one with Lucas definitely will redo at some point, probably in person. Beams was good, Daniel's good, Dominique, those two together. Andy was good, but I think Lucas will probably do again at some point because one, he's already quintupled his gains, and then on top of that, when I first did his was the first interview I believe, and it was very short, right? Back then I was thinking shorter interviews, but then the people said, hey, they want 40, 50-minute plus. So he started asking more questions and so forth and so forth. Yeah, this stuff's pretty detailed. You guys can check it out. And yeah, that'll do it. Stay safe, stay green. It's been Relentless Trader, your favorite YouTuber. And mark my words, your fearless leader will get it done. Just come back in 1, 2 months from now and watch me fly, 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 fly. Hit that thumbs up. Stay safe, stay green. See you guys tomorrow for another beautiful day.